Southern Iceland. 1104 AD. Mount Hekla erupts, raining millions of tons of volcanic ash across the Þjórsárvöllur Valley. Within hours, the farmstead at Stong disappears beneath a gray blanket of geological disaster. Black ash swallows the landscape. Roofs vanish beneath the storm. The Atlantic wind drives volcanic dust through every crack in the earth. And then, silence. For 800 years, the settlement remains buried beneath Iceland itself. When archaeologists finally uncover Stong centuries later, they expect ruins. Instead, they discover something impossible. The walls are still standing, perfectly preserved beneath the ash. While modern concrete fractures within decades, these structures, built from nothing but earth, roots, and grass, have survived nearly a millennium underground. This is the story of the living wall, a form of Viking engineering where biology and physics merge into a single system. A building that does not weaken with time, but grows stronger because of it. To most people, these structures look primitive. Mud huts buried in the ground. But to the Norse builders of Iceland, they were advanced biological composites engineered directly from the landscape itself. In a world without forests or quarries, survival depended on understanding the earth beneath your feet. Viking builders learned to read the soil like craftsmen reading iron. They searched for a precise balance. Roughly 60% living root fiber, 40% sandy volcanic mineral. Too much sand, and the wall would crumble during the first winter freeze. Too many roots, and the structure would bend beneath the immense roof weight. This was not guesswork. It was material science passed through generations without written language. Turf blocks were cut directly from the Icelandic hillsides. Inside each piece, tangled roots formed a dense natural network that behaved almost like biological rebar. Layer by layer, the walls were assembled using a distinctive herringbone pattern, each course angled opposite the one below it, not for decoration, but for survival. In rigid structures, pressure creates cracks. But in a Viking turf wall, the weight of the roof forced the layers inward, compressing the structure tighter with every storm. Even the joints were alive. The skeleton of the house relied on wooden pegs called tree nails.
The sea devours the shore!
As Atlantic rains soaked the timber, the pegs absorbed moisture and expanded, locking the structure together more tightly year after year. Modern iron rusts. Viking wood adapted, but the most remarkable layer existed deep inside the wall itself. Because the turf was cut while the grass was still alive, the roots continued growing after construction. Slowly, silently, they pushed through the seams between blocks. Threading the entire structure together into a single dense mass. The house became a living organism, stronger every season. denser every winter, more resistant with age instead of weaker. And in the brutal Arctic climate, these walls performed another function modern builders still struggle to replicate naturally. At nearly 2 meters thick, the turf absorbed heat from the central hearth during the day and slowly released it back into the house throughout the freezing Icelandic night. Long after the fire dimmed, the walls themselves continued radiating warmth. A slow-release biological radiator built entirely from earth and grass. The Norse did not build against nature, they built with it. Range strengthened their joints. Roots reinforced their walls. The environment itself became part of the structure. In the frozen isolation of medieval Iceland, survival did not belong to the strongest. It belonged to those who understood the systems hidden beneath the landscape. And 8 centuries later, the living wall still stands as proof that intelligence is not always found in steel, concrete, or machines. Sometimes, it grows quietly beneath your feet. The fire lives another night.